Good. Well, we've got some exciting news to start off the show with. Right? I cannot
Yeah.
wait to talk about this because for me, this is something I've been waiting for a long time. So, we ready to get into it?
Yes, mate. And do you want
Let's
me to
go.
bring it up?
Yeah, sure. If you want to, yeah, I think that's always easier. People could see it
Is
on
it
the screen.
is it on LinkedIn or is it on Twitter?
LinkedIn. Yep, it's probably on Twitter too, but
Cool.
LinkedIn is where I
Okay.
saw
Look at us. This is live and unfiltered. Just remember this, guys. Like I'm doing this on the fly.
it.
Okay.
All right,
Here
so
we
we're going to pull
go.
up Ginny Marvin's post, and Ginny wrote something 10 hours ago as of today, and this is being filmed in September. Whole bunch of announcements from D Mexico today. D Mexico, what is D Mexico? Am I just out of the loop? Do you know what that is? D Mexico?
No, I have no idea. I saw that and then I thought it must have been a different post. So
I don't know.
regardless, let's get this. Let's get this
Can't keep
up.
up with
Look.
all the conferences. There we go. Okay, that's the one. All right, guys, there's a bunch of little updates here, but I'd say the most important one is the very first one, and that's probably why she put it first, because it's probably, in my opinion, the most asked about, talked about feature that Performance Max has been missing. Up until now, we've had to use, well, it's still going to be going into the immediate future. We've been limited to negative keywords for PMAX campaigns, Performance Max campaigns, using account level negatives, whether that's through a Google rep, through your own account, whatever, or brand exclusions. But now, huge announcement, a new beta for self-serve campaign level negative keywords will start rolling out by the end of this year. Stay tuned for details. So that's all we know, guys. That's really the news, but I figured Michael and I can talk about how big this is, why is it a big thing, and how we might be using it in our account. So Michael, is this not exciting or what?
Mate, this is amazing. This is what we've wanted for the last 2 years because
Yep.
my biggest theory, my ultimate, just like after doing this for 10 years, success from Google Ads doesn't come from doing the right things. It comes from not doing the wrong things. And the wrong things are wrong type of keywords, wrong type of settings, which PMAX, and then wrong type of targeting, which is part of settings. Wrong type of searches, that comes from PMAX.
Hmm.
So that's why a lot of people fail with PMAX. And then number two is the settings, which we're starting to get more and more insights on and also more clarity on. So I think this is amazing. Now, Corey, you just said something then that I just need to confirm, and I might look like a damn fool by asking this. Actually, I don't. Is I get negative keywords added on PMAX campaigns at the moment, but you said it only applies on an account level.
Unless you go through a rep and then they could add it
Oh,
through the
okay.
individual campaign level. Yeah. I
Thank
think
you.
for most
Thank you.
people, they're just so like, here's my giant list, please apply it to my
Okay.
account. But I don't know if
Yep.
everybody's applying it to campaign. I don't
Yeah.
want to assume
Okay.
that.
I
Yep.
get reps to do it, obviously, because that's the only way. I just thought for a second that when you said that, I'm like, have these been applying to the whole account level? And I'm just visualizing like all these clients who their brand campaigns on search are not running because of that. I'm like, that's why I'll ask the stupid question to get the simple answer. So
No, I'm glad you
uh,
clarified. Good, good.
this is really, I'm excited for this because this does change the game because we want to be a self-served advertising channel. At the end of the day, you still want Google Ads to be self-serving. The fact that you needed support with this, like I've used other ad channels like, what were they? I think Spotify, and some other channels where you needed them to do it all for you. And it just seems really inconvenient and also just really just like you just don't have that self-trust that it's being done absolutely properly. So when you know something self-serve, yes, more people are going to make mistakes, but I ain't. So I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited for this because this is going to give us at Market Lead like way more confidence just to like go like full aggressive with Performance Max.
Yep. Yeah, I'm one of my biggest questions is why did it take this long to give us this control? And it's not even ready yet. This is just an
I know.
announcement of a beta. Like, what is it about it that they could? So if they could have done it through a rep, why couldn't they have given us the ability to do that? Was it a matter of let's see if we can pull this off and get most advertisers to Performance Max without them having that level of
Yeah.
control and potentially messing up the results of this new thing? Or was it a matter of this new thing PMAX can't handle a lot of campaign level negatives and still do a decent job? I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, I guess I would have to lean to the latter because why wouldn't it? Why would they announce it and it's still not ready? They're obviously still working through some kinks in this,
Yeah.
right? It's pretty
The
strange.
It's either that they just done it for a reason, as in like they couldn't do the technical implementation. Like it is that whilst it's in Google Ads, it could be just completely different product, like a whole different team, even though it's in Google Ads and functionally it didn't work. On the other side of conspiracy, they might go, let's see how many like how much junk traffic we can just accumulate through that time, get more traffic coming through, just and also they may have just done the whole thing where like this is just like a huge like guinea pig test on them. They're just like, let's just see what it's like when people have no control over anything and see what the results are like. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
if it's not good and people are not happy, then we pull back.
Yep.
But it didn't seem like they kind of go one step more to automation. It's like, here's the whole thing in one go, and you can't strip back.
Yep.
Even remember early days with the that you made it famous, and that's like, and then I started talking about it a lot. Is the feed only asset groups? I call it feed only. Still, people call it other things, but that was kind of like breaking what the structure was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
didn't want you to do that, but it
No,
was
because
able to.
we
And I was
were
like,
trying to retain smart shopping. We were trying to do our best to just keep it on
yes,
shopping. Yep.
and I still do that, by the way, with most clients.
Oh yeah.
The But that was like against like their not their documentation, but it was really against what they wanted it to use for. And then because that was like a loophole, they tried to like close up that loophole, but still it's there. And I don't
Yeah,
know
like
if they
they
just
added
had to
YouTube
give it.
Shorts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mate. So anyway, that's my little opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly excited because I think this will get some advertisers to try Performance Max if they've been hesitant before. Maybe they didn't know about using a Google Rep for this, or they just didn't want to go through the trouble of going through a Google Rep for this, or maybe they just didn't. I've heard this too. They just didn't trust that the Google Rep would follow exactly what they were telling them. Like, hey, I want you to apply it to just these campaigns. They were worried about that, right? So I think this is going to hopefully get some advertisers to at least try Performance Max for certain products or for certain services and give it a good test. Again, I'm all for doing standard shopping as well as PMAX or one or the other or both. Again, there's no right or wrong here. There's no generic best practices. You have to test and see what works best for your products, for your services, whatever. But I think this is a good opportunity to try some of the good old optimizations that we've done in the past with standard
Mm,
shopping, right? So we're talking query filtering at the campaign level. So maybe we could start having where you have maybe, let's say, keep it simple. We got 3 products. Let's say all 3 of those products are in the same campaign. Well, historically, if you weren't doing the campaign level negatives through a Google Rep, you'd put it all in one campaign and you just apply account level negatives. Okay, not a big deal. But what if you wanted to start expanding the types of queries or searches that you're showing your ads for? Well, how would you do that? You'd have to either just take off the account level negative, or you would have to you'd separate at the campaign level and get with a Google Rep to apply the negatives so that only certain types of intent are funneling through one PMAX versus another. Now you
yeah.
can just do this yourself, right? You can drive the car however you want. You can have your query filtered where one Performance Max campaign for products A, B, and C are your high intent. You're willing to bid really aggressively, put a ton of budget into that. And then you've got your second campaign where it's sort of like mid funnel, not the full commercial intent, but it's almost there. You put a certain amount of budget and a little less aggressive bidding. And then the other, Performance Max campaign, same products in all 3, but you're just controlling your bidding and controlling your budget by intent. This will give those controls more easily to the advertisers, which I'm really excited about that.
Mm, right. It's exciting. You mentioned about the reps just before, like getting support from them. That's the thing. If anyone's seen, if you do it yourself, the spreadsheet they send you, it looks so weird and dodgy. It looks weird, and it's just like super confusing. And also, like if you're like me, I'm very fast paced. Like I want things done now. Like I want to just quickly apply something, move on, let's get it done. And it just feels like such like a you're running at high speed, like we're doing stuff, and there's like smacking you against a wall. And it's like, do this process, like, bro, like, here's my campaign ID, here's my list that I want you to add to it. It's like, oh, but we need your approval. I'm like, bro,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
here's my approval. I'm telling you to
Yeah.
do it. So
Telling you to, yeah.
yeah, it's really annoying. But this is good
Really.
news. This is good news.
Yes. Good
Now,
news.
any of the other things that you found super interesting? More PMAX
Uh,
insights?
Yeah, I mean, I like getting the impression share data for the shopping ads on search. As you can see that there are new impression share reporting for text and shopping ads on search. So we'll get some search impression share metrics inside of those Performance Max campaigns. So I'm excited about that. I don't know if it's going to hit the API first or after, but hopefully that comes in an API update so we
Mm.
can pull that stuff programmatically. New asset coverage reporting, recommendations underperforming. That was another one. I think was where is it here? I mean, Google is really on this bandwagon of the AI generated sort of assets and everything. And obviously, my conspiracy on that is they want to get more advertisers to try demand gen and those kind of outbound display heavy
Yeah.
type of advertisements because, obviously, they want a lot of data. Google's a data company. They want more data points on figuring out ways to make it better, which I don't blame them. They also, if you want to go the negative pessimistic route, they also just want to make profits off of those other ad networks that they're having trouble getting advertisers to spend money on. So utilizing these AI based asset generation tools allows maybe the opportunity for more advertisers to start utilizing those channels. I assume that's one of the reasons they're pushing that so heavily, but also the technology has improved to allow advertisers to use this, and it is a good tool. I think it's a helpful tool, and I'm glad that we have it.
The technology has improved, Corey, but have the results? That's the
Exactly.
question.
That
That's
is
the
the question.
question. I'm
Yep.
still extremely like not impressed by the display network and the ability for it to. It has so much potential power that it feels like it's. I don't know. It just feels like someone who's born with talent and just never really just like does the work.
I think if, in case people haven't watched that previous episode where we dropped that knowledge bomb of just theorizing around why is Facebook's algorithm for advertising seemingly better performing in certain ways in sense of outbound and cold traffic versus Google Display Network and YouTube, and we kind of talked about it and said, maybe it's the difference between Facebook picks up signals using unconscious signals from the user, right? So it's picking up these sort of unconscious behaviors. Someone that's mindlessly scrolling, they're interacting with things. It's a different part of their brain that's it's interacting with content. Whereas in Google, it's this intentional, logical part
Yeah.
of the brain. It's more conscious, and Google is getting that algorithm is learning with different signals in a sense about its users. So go back and watch that episode. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but just watch all of them, and
Yeah.
you'll find that piece of content.
I forgot about that until you just spoke about that. I'm like, that is some damn good knowledge, Corey. Like that around like Facebook and social media, people are going that in an unconscious state. So then whatever they take actions on are unconscious biases playing out, which the algorithms pick up versus Google and big Google search, people are proactively looking, or YouTube, the most of the time they're proactively watching rather than just numbing out like doom scrolling. So
Exactly.
and even when people do see GDN ads or Google Display Network ads or these things, or Gmail ads, they're in their email. They know what they're doing there, or they're like on a website, like a news site. Like they're there with some sort of purpose. They're probably not
Mm,
going into some sort of unconscious bias mode. So,
yep.
mate, what a good start to this episode. So let's jump to
Yes.
the next section, mate.
All right. Let's